Sonia here. I'm back today with my collage journal of my week. So last week I showed you the week started with Sunday the 13th, which was Mother's Day, and I'm doing it in this country style gardens magazine, and I've just stuck these pieces on the cover of my journal. So it says, every notebook tells a story, what's yours? So I thought that was quite appropriate. So that's what I've done on my cover so far. Now we'll get to the week. So starting Sunday, I always start my week on a Sunday. Sunday the 20th of May. I did my lactose gastrolab breath test in the morning, which is really inconvenient because you've got to test yourself every half an hour for 3 hours, and you have to fast. You're not allowed to have your breakfast or anything. So that's the most annoying part, is you get really hungry. So I've been doing that every few days to see what intolerances I have. After that, I've put Audi in here because Ruben did a small grocery shop while I was doing my testing. I don't like to go out in case I get sick while that's happening. Did my washing days. I've got my washing basket there. And this here is Boy George, Delta Goodrum, and I can't remember her name. But anyway, it's they're the judges on the host. The Voice, not the host. The Voice here in Australia, which is on TV at the moment. And we've also got one of the Jonas Brothers as well. But this is a picture from last year, so I didn't have his picture. So we've been watching that every Sunday night. We like watching our music, so we as a family come together and watch that, which is really good. That's all that really happened on the Sunday. Then Monday, my daughter went off to school, and about 5 minutes later I had a knock on the door, and it was my daughter at the door, and she said, "Oh, the bus hasn't come and there's nobody at the bus stop." And then we realised that the bus wasn't coming that day, because sometimes they do that if the other school is having a pupil free day. So I had to do an impromptu drive to the school that day. So I had to quickly rush out of my pyjamas, because I was still in my pyjamas, get dressed in about 5 seconds flat and rush her down to the school. And then I had to pick her up that day as well. So I was a bit annoyed about that, because we normally get an email to say that the bus isn't going to come on a certain day, and the school had no idea that it was happening. So yeah, it can't be helped. And I also went to work that day, and if you remember the week before, I had that little fight with my boss, and he quite upset me. Well, he apologised for the text and said that he shouldn't have sent the text, so that was all worked out. So much happier now. And then we had beautiful, yummy tacos for dinner. So I've got this little picture of tacos, which I cut off of my taco box container. And that's one of our favourite meals, is tacos. So then on Tuesday the 22nd, I went back to work. So that's why I've got this. Is it a badger? I think that's a badger doing vacuuming. And I worked with a new girl, Dell, who's coming along quite well. And then when I got home, I painted and collaged in my Abandoned Places book, which I have a few videos on here. And I've got this picture of a pie, because I had pie and a cup of tea for a quick lunch that day, which I often do really quick lunches if I've been working, because I don't feel like cooking or making sandwiches, so I just find something quick and easy to eat. And then that night, my husband come home from work and I've got this DVD player picture because he brought home about 20 DVDs from his mate at work who didn't want them anymore. He'd seen them all and he was having a clear out, so he gave us about 20 DVDs. So I've written here that we've got lots of movie nights ahead, so that was a really nice surprise. And then we also watched that night, which was really interesting. It was a man here in Australia who says he can heal people using his mind. And I don't normally believe in any of that stuff, but this man seemed very legitimate. Like, I couldn't find any signs in his face that he was lying at all. He just looked so damn honest. And I hope for the world's sake that it is true, but it's probably not. But if you want to look him up, his name is Charlie Goldsmith and he's an Australian and he's going through all these tests at the moment, I think in America, where they're trying to prove that he can actually do it. So that was a really interesting show that we watched. And then on Wednesday, I watched some YouTube first thing in the morning. I often do with my breakfast, catch up on my videos. And then I made a trip down to the charity shop and bought, I think it was about 6-7 magazines I managed to get because I needed some more collage fodder like we all do. So I got a whole heap of those. And then in the afternoon I had to pick up my daughter from school and she had an orthodontist appointment for her braces. So we got that done, and then straight afterwards we had to rush down to the other side of town and she had to do a hazard perception test, which here in Australia is once you've got your learner's permit and you've done all your hours driving, you then have a driving test, and then your instructor gives you your P plates. But before you actually are allowed to go and drive on your own, you have to go and sit a hazard perception test on the computer at the travel department. And she was so nervous and she was bright red as a beetroot because she gets bright red when she's nervous. And I really felt for her, and she sat in and she did a test and she actually got 100%. So I was so proud of her, and yeah, she was really, really happy with herself. So now she's driving all on her own, which is a big step. Then on Thursday, I hope you can see this. I'll try to prop it up a bit with my folder. Is that a bit better? I hope you can see this. I haven't even been checking the camera. How's that? Is that a bit better? Right. On Thursday, I did my second intolerance test, and that was for fructose. So these are these little vials that I found a picture of because I've got to breathe into these glass test tubes. So I thought that was a good picture. And a little clock for every half an hour. And the weather has been so cold. It hasn't hit winter officially yet. It's still May, so I think winter starts June. But it has been so icy. I've had to put the heater on through the day when I'm at home, and I don't like doing it because it costs us a fortune, the type of heater we've got. But it's just been so cold. So I put that in there. Then I've got these cars. I'm sorry, can you hear the rain out there? It's pouring down with rain. Okay, so Jennifer, the one who just got her PE plate, she started looking for her first car. So we had a look at a few cars, but there was nothing appropriate at the moment. And then we had a beautiful ravioli dinner. I love, 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 love pasta. And this, even though this is a ravioli, I couldn't find ravioli picture, but this is just pasta. So we had that for tea. Then on Friday, first thing in the morning, I went with my husband. He followed me up in my daughter. This is my eldest daughter. She needed to get her car serviced, so we took that into the mechanic to get that serviced and dropped that off while she went to work. And then not too much else happened through the day. I started an art journal, a perfume art journal. That's why I've got this perfume bottle. The perfume journal is an idea I came up with. I was watching Shannon Green, and she did a video about making a magazine from a magazine. So she basically cuts out adverts and makes her own adverts. And I really, really love perfume adverts for some reason. You know, the whole page advert with the perfume, it's just so feminine and pretty, and I love perfume. You know, like my husband made me up these shelves because I have quite a few perfumes, and yeah, I love everything about it. So I thought I would make up a journal just with all different perfume ads in it and add texture and paint. But so far I've done 2 pages, but I'm not really liking it very much. It's not sort of working out how I envisioned, so I'm not sure if I'm going to keep going with that one at the moment. And then we just had roast chicken for dinner that I bought from the supermarket already cooked. So I've got winner chicken dinner because it's always a winner when you don't got to cook. And then this is the last day of the week, so Saturday the 26th of May. I had to go to work in the morning, so that's why I've got this nice clean bathroom picture. And my daughter actually bought a car. So she went off with my husband while I was at work, and they went looking at cars again, and she managed to find one that she loved, and he checked it out, and it was a really good car and very inexpensive. He got a good deal, so she bought a Subaru Liberty. And she's so happy now. Like, she grinned apparently the whole way home. She's just so happy. It's her first car and she absolutely loves it. And now she's driving herself to school every day in the morning, which is like so weird. Like, she gets to leave half an hour later now because she's not on the bus. And I don't got to drive her to school anymore. And she goes off on her own. And like on the weekend, she went to her cousin's house, and it's so weird just having my little baby driving off. But they all grow up sooner or later, and yeah, it's just she's my youngest, so it's taking a bit of getting used to her driving around by herself. And then in the late afternoon, we had this garden party at a friend's house. I should be, haven't been doing it, but I should cover the address. Oops. And it was an engagement party at our friends Maddie and Michael's, and it was beautiful, and there was lovely food and wine. But because I had come straight from work, I hadn't eaten much, and there was kind of just like nibbly food there, like little like finger food, and I hadn't eaten too much. And they had this beautiful, I am a sucker for Moscato white wine, and I had a few of those, and yeah, I got a wee bit tipsy, and I wouldn't say I got absolutely drunk, but I did get very tipsy that day and got a bit giggly and fun, and my daughters thought it was absolutely fantastic. Of course, that mum is laughing and giggling and carrying on. But afterwards, I didn't feel too good, and yeah, I felt very sleepy when we got home and pretty much fell asleep on the couch. So, but it was a lovely engagement party, and they're a great couple, and yeah, it was just a really nice time in the garden. And later on, it got colder, so they put on a fire with like a log fire on, and we just stared into the fire and drank wine and ate, and it was a beautiful day. And that's the end. So this is the end of my week, and Sunday the 27th will be the start of a new week for me. So I hope you enjoyed my weekly collage. And once again, thank you, Heidi Hornsby, for giving me this idea. I'm having so much fun, and it's so much easier than keeping a written journal, because I never really know what to write about. And I just love doing this. So thanks, everyone. Enjoy your week. Bye.